Yeah, it is. And this is why it's super important to know who is the GPS in your life. Who are you listening to? And can they actually have a bird's eye view of your financial situation? Are they experienced to actually see what could potentially happen in 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now? Because they have been in the industry. They've taught other people to do this. Therefore, they know the likeliness of this happening.
So here's the real mystery. How do regular folks like you and me, who have families and real lives, who have careers and regular 9-to-5s, really fare in the personal finance game? Why are some hugely successful while others fail miserably time and time again? Those are the glaring questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. This is EmpowerYou Financial with Eva Palacios.
All right, and welcome to another episode of EmpowerYou Financial with Eva Palacios. My name is Charles McGill. I'm your host. So excited to be talking to you guys today. But before we get started, got to make sure the credit boss, aka credit coach, is in the building. Miss Eva Palacios, you in the house?
Yes. What's up?
Oh boy,
we can't always be perfect. It's okay. It's okay to have a little bit of bloopers here and there.
I think I was like, because I know. Well, so heads up, guys, we're gonna start putting some of these episodes on YouTube, and I was looking at myself when I was saying it. I think that threw me off. I should have been looking at myself. Yeah. Anyway, so Eva, how you doing?
I'm good. Like, seriously, like, people don't realize like how hard it is to do it. Like, everybody's like, oh, you're so good on camera, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, like behind the scenes is crazy.
But you are good on camera though. But
it took practice, like years and years of, you got to do that. And I still don't got it right. Like, I swear I need somebody to tell me what to do, but yeah, it takes practice.
Yes. So I love how you can just look at the camera, because I tend to look everywhere but the camera.
Because I was taught to look at the camera.
Yeah. So it's like someone looking in my eyes. I'm like, looking away. Oh, anyway. All right. Sorry, guys. So how are you doing this week?
Oh man, it's great. Another week went by. Where did it go? Like, we're about to hit April. What's going on? Too fast,
and I have like too many things piled up, and I've been reflecting. I really been reflecting, like, okay, am I procrastinating? And am I like just wasting time, or am I just really slammed? And honestly, like, I try to look, because usually where I waste my time is like TV. And so I thought about it. I was like, well, how many hours of TV have I watched this week?
Yeah.
I could honestly say very little. And so
I have 0 hours of TV.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We all have
week.
0. Always. Well, you won. Okay.
But I will have to say, the reason behind that is because all of my episodes are like on a sabbatical right now. They're like 2-3 weeks off.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah. I'm waiting for, the new Winter Soldier and Falcon.
I have no
on
idea
Disney
what that is.
Plus.
Okay.
Did you see WandaVision?
No, what?
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, you know what? It's okay. I don't want you to get caught up in TV and all that stuff. Keep working. Keep doing what you're doing. We're trying to build an empire over here. So you keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
My TV time, it's, we have something similar, right? Because I will watch it with my wife. That's our time, like she likes to, enjoys that. So I do that for her.
Me too. Do it for my husband.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. So
do it for the spouses.
That's it. And we've gotten a couple episodes in, but not as much as normal. And lately she's been falling asleep. So I've been like, yo, I'm turning this thing off. I'm not going to sit here and watch the TV while you fall asleep.
Or bring the laptop with you and start doing work.
I've thought about that. Actually, I've thought about kind of bringing that with you. Like, let me just move this over here and type some stuff up. That's what you do?
No, because Will don't ever I fall asleep before he does. But sometimes I'm like, you know what? I've been in my office all day. Like, let me just go to the living room, take my laptop and like write, knock out these game plans. But then I'm like, no, I'll get distracted. And then, then we at like 1 a.m. and stuff ain't done. So no, that ain't happening.
It's so funny. I have like my own spot on the couch and everyone.
Me too. I got my own spot.
If I sit on that spot, dude, it is like
game over.
Out. It is so funny because I get teased by my family, right? They're always teasing me, Dad, you're always falling asleep, Dad, this, that. I'm like, it's the spot. It's not me, it's the spot. And they're like, yeah, right. But every time I leave the house, they always want to sit in my spot. And here's the thing. I think it was like last week, my oldest daughter came over from college. She was hanging out, and she's one of my kids who looks a lot like me. And it was so funny because she was sitting in that spot. It was like in the middle of the afternoon. And I kid you not, within like 20 minutes, she was knocked out. And she was sleeping the same way I was. And she wears glasses like I do. It was hilarious. I was like, wow, that's how I look. I asked my wife, is that how I look? And she was like, that's exactly how you look.
Oh, you didn't take a picture?
Oh, I did. And I showed her.
Good.
She was laughing. She was like, oh my God. But yeah, so it's not my fault. It's the spot.
It's a spot. So I don't go over there.
Yeah, you should avoid it.
Stay right here in my lane.
That's right. Stay at the table or something. Okay, so we got a podcast to get to and lots to talk about, some good stuff to talk about. Busy week as always. I don't think anything to catch up on my end. No, that's I think just working out. I'm still working out, guys.
Yay! You haven't quit.
I haven't quit. Now the scale, we won't even talk about that no more. I've had a talk with Coach. We're not gonna worry about the scale right now. We're just not gonna worry about it. We're just gonna keep working out and I'm
better.
feeling yes.
Okay.
I'm feeling good. The shirts are fitting differently,
Yes.
My wife is like, I've noticed this and noticed that. I'm like, okay, you know what? Bump the scale in what it says. I'm not going to let that discourage me or, get me.
We have a lot of off-scale victories here.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? Let's just count the small wins. So that's what I'm doing now. And I'm just happy that I keep coming, because like the last 2 days I had to stay up late from working and I was so tired and had
I remember. Was it Monday that we were like struggling? You're like, I got a headache and I'm struggling.
And I'm struggling. And the thing was, I said to myself, I was like, you know what? But if I can do it now, like if I can go and I feel like crap and I really, really, really don't want to go and I have every like excuse that sounds right to not go. If I can do that and still go, then I know that I'm committed and I know that,
that's right.
It's a good thing. So I did. I said, I'm gonna win this. I'm gonna win this. And so I went and I feel good about that. I'm proud of myself. And so now, when I don't feel that way, it's even easier, right? And I actually feel good. So
and your back was hurting and you were still deadlifting.
True. And it's still tight. It's still what it is. It still is right now, but I'm just going to keep going because I figure it's getting stronger, it's getting stronger. It's just going to take some time. This is painful stuff. Do I want to be doing it? Absolutely not. Every time I do work around the house now, my back starts tripping like almost immediately. But I just muster through it because you know what? My wife and kids do not care. They don't got time for that. They're like, Dad, that still needs to get done.
Get it together.
So we gonna just get it done. But I just wanted to tell the audience I'm still committed to this, and I'm hoping that it will continue to last for a while, and eventually we'll start to see the kind of results that are, the ones that you're like, wow, noticeable, but right now.
And you may not even notice it though. Like, cause I mean, I don't know about you, but like, I don't notice things unless I start. And that's why like now I get it when people take like before and after photos or they compare like where they were like a few months ago or a year ago or whatever. And if it wasn't for like, Facebook memories popping up or just going through my camera roll, like I feel like I don't look different. But when I actually see side by sides and stuff, I'm like, what? Like, I can't believe like that's what I used to look like. Like it's so crazy.
Yeah. And it is good to kind of earmark it and just be like, just like really, really like focus on the change. I love that. I love that. Cause that's inspiring, right? Cause I mean, I'll tell you one thing, watching you, I used to see it. And that's crazy how we can't see it, but
I don't see it.
I guess, I mean, that's the reason when I started working out. Cause I was like, man, whatever Eva's doing is working. Cause I can see.
I gotta go to her coach. Her coach works.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's hard. It's hard because, you know, for me, like I've hit a plateau, like I'm stuck and I'm like, what do I do? Do I intermittent fast? Do I do keto? Do I do this? Do I do that? Do I not eat? Like, what do I do? And everybody's like, well, you're probably just building muscle and muscle weighs more than fat. And I'm just like, I don't care. Like, can I just look good?
Yeah. I hear you.
And there's so many variables and it's like, what's right? Like,
yeah.
And so I'm
well,
stuck.
You know what? So
I'm still fighting through it.
Yes. Well, you know what? I was going to talk about one thing on the podcast today. We kind of talked about it beforehand. Yeah. But actually what you just said and what we've been talking about it's kind of reminded me of something else we talked about recently. And so we'll see where this goes, Eva. But
we changing it up?
I don't know. I don't know. Let's just see where this goes. But
hot seat time. Hey. I don't know what we're talking about, guys. So.
Okay. Well, we were driving home from working out.
Yeah.
And we were on the freeway. Mm-hmm. And do you remember we like got a whole bunch of traffic?
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Whole bunch of traffic.
I remember that conversation.
Oh man. It was like all this traffic. I know this doesn't happen, right? But it's
definitely
99.
Like, I mean, I've been working out for months and I've never hit traffic like that.
Exactly. And I've been doing almost 2 months now and haven't seen it. And so it was 99 plus, 99 when it gets locked up, man. Yeah. All bad. Right.
Yep.
So I know me and you both are like, we got our mornings planned out. We are not trying to sit on the freeway for no extra amount of time. We got to get home.
Yeah.
And finish whatever we're doing. So anyway, I remember we both were kind of like, man, what are we going to do? We start looking at the different exits and then.
Yeah. We were straight up like GPSing everything. Google Maps,
right?
Waze.
That's right.
All of it.
Yep. And one thing that we put in was, I remember I put in was, no highways, right? Because we were on the highway.
Right.
And it was the strangest thing that happened, right? It said that, so it gave me 3 different routes, right? Yep. It gave me 3 different routes. And then on the top, it said fastest route, right? The other ones did not have the indication. There's 3 routes. 1 route said the fastest route.
Yep.
The one that said the fastest route was the one that was red. Mm-hmm. The one that was in traffic.
That was you there.
That we were on. But it said fastest route.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really amazing because I'm like, hold on. So that means if we were to veer off, if we were to actually take a detour right now and go, well, it looks to be clear. I'm looking at it. It looks clear over there.
Right. We like zoom in and like see the road clear.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah.
But they're saying, no, actually you would add 10 more minutes to your travel time if you take that route. Yep. So anyway, I want to step back and talk about that a little bit because I feel like that's such a great analogy for life, and our road to trying to get our personal finances and personal credit together.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
We sometimes feel like we're getting stuck. We hit that plateau, like we are with the weights, and I'm like, it feel like I'm just moving weights for no, ain't nothing happening. But we may, without knowing, we may be actually, even though it's going slow, we may be on the fastest route.
That's right.
So talk to us a little bit about that. So, I know you got some stories about some folks that you've helped in different situations.
Yes.
Yeah. So talk to the people.
Yeah. I mean, oh my gosh, like this is such a huge category, but the first thing that comes to mind is, somebody coming to me that may have, gone to the other guys for help. And now they're coming here and, give them their game plan and talk them through, okay, here's the steps in sequence that need to happen in order for your scores to move. And it's there. Like I provide a written game plan. So like, if you forget what we talked about for the hour, guess what? You refer to your game plan and it's all right there. So there's really no reason for you to veer off and take the nearest exit to take a shortcut to try to get to your destination faster. But I think people are just they're so frustrated. They spend all this time and money over here, and I've been with them for 6 months, a year, 2 years, spending all this money. They come to me and they want those instant results. And it's like, oh, you're going to definitely get results, and you're going to definitely get results sooner over here than over there. But you have to follow the GPS. Otherwise, if you get distracted, add more time to your route. If you skip to step number 3 without doing step number 2, it's going to delay you. You might end up in traffic. So yeah, that's huge.
Well, that's that also, because we recently got an updated game plan. Thank you very much from my wife.
Yes.
So it's real. She gives out game plans, and it really is detailed and lets you know exactly what you got to do.
When life happens, you need to revisit.
Yeah. And so, what I was going to say though, is that, sometimes what we do, when we don't follow the game plan, right. And maybe we, kind of hedge our bets and risk some things. And I can imagine there's been situations I know you've told me about situations where sometimes people are like ignoring certain things that they should resolve.
Yeah.
They don't resolve them right away, and they figure it's going to go away. Right.
Yep.
And then when you go to apply for that house, all of a sudden that collections that you don't see anymore, because it's maybe on your Experian your Experian, and you're not looking at your TransUnion, right? But they pull all 3, or some underwriter pulls all 3 and finds this one collections that's, buried. And next thing you know, you're not able to get your house. Right. Has there been situations like that before?
Absolutely not. I mean, and that's like the easy way. What about those who, go to the other guys, and the other guys are like, oh yeah, I'll just delete all of these accounts for you.
Oh yeah.
And you're thinking, well, cool. I paid this money. I got them deleted. I don't have to worry about them.
And that's the shortcut.
That's a shortcut.
Right?
That's a shortcut.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, there are laws that protect consumers, but there are also laws that protect creditors. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of factors that need to be considered: statute of limitations, FCRA, like all of it. But long story short, nobody can guarantee an item can be permanently deleted forever. Number 1. Number 2, if it gets deleted, who's to say that it's not going to come back? And 9 times out of 10, it comes back at the worst time, when you're trying to get approved for that home loan. Or you might be in the middle of escrow. You're approved for the home loan. Items got deleted, approved for the home loan. Now you're shopping for the house. Now you put the earnest money deposit. Now you're in escrow. Escrow takes 30 to 45 days. Boom, collection pops up with the new company, same debt. New company pops up in the middle of escrow. Guess what? You could lose that house and your earnest money deposit. Yeah, it happens a lot. And it's devastating, because during escrow, if you're doing everything the lender or me, I tell you to do, don't open accounts, don't close accounts, don't charge on credit cards, don't buy the refrigerator yet. If everything goes according to plan, you should close perfectly fine. But what you can't control is a new creditor popping up on your credit report, and now it's a ding, and now that throws the wrench in everything.
Hey, quick break here. Sorry to interrupt the podcast. We'll get you right back to it. We just want to spend a few seconds to talk about the EmpowerYou financial group on Facebook. This is Eva's private Facebook group where she gives free tips, tricks, and strategies to improve your financial situation. Join the over 1,000 plus member community and see the success stories of people just like you who want to live life on their own terms. Come laugh with us, tell your story, and share your victories. Just search EmpowerYou Financial in Facebook and join our free private group. Oh, and be sure to invite a friend.
Yeah, and I could just imagine as a consumer, when you're trying to do the right things and you're someone who's just like trying to, level up, right? You're trying to do what you can. And, sticking with the same analogy, you're just trying to get home, right? You're trying to get to where you feel like you should be.
Yes.
And you get these roadblocks or what feels like, traffic, it feels like it's slowing you down.
Yep.
It's very tempting to start looking around, right?
Very.
Get hasty, and it's so funny because we were also get impatient. We were watching that. Remember, we were watching a couple cars, how they were merging.
Yes. I'm like, this fool's about to create an accident.
Exactly. This truck was like taking up 2 lanes because it was trying to look around to see what the problem was. It was like, what is going on? And so we're watching all this, and this is like, this is what people do in life, right? We're like, we get impatient, we get hasty. We're like,
let's go into the emergency lane and pass all these guys up.
Let's just do some random stuff, right?
Crazy stuff.
And it end up, like you said, could cause an accident, make things even worse, right? But we don't see it. And so, when we are blessed with a GPS, and what this comedian, I'm not gonna steal it. I think it was Kevin on stage. He called it God's positioning system. He was,
that's a good one.
Pretty good one, right? So your GPS, when you're blessed with a GPS, follow the instructions, right? Because it's telling you this is the way to go. It's able to see what you can't see. It's able to see further down the line. This is one thing I loved about your game plan too, is that you told me you're like, okay, this is what John C needs to do. Now, and then in 4 or 5 months from now, this is what she needs to do, and then 6 months from now, and then a year from now, so you're giving me like these are all the steps. And if you also told me the criteria, if you get to month 6 and this other stuff hasn't happened, don't apply for that card. Like only apply if you've done all these other things, then this will work. And once again, I could see myself thinking, because I even asked you, I said, well, how about what if I get this little trade line over here and do this and that? You know what I'm saying? Because I heard about some things. And you like, it could work. I mean, it could speed things up. It could. But then we talked about, well, how much does that cost versus, what if I waited too much? How much would I save? And would I get to the same spot in 2 months? But basically, save money. So we had to like factor all that in. And it turns out, once again, the GPS, the game plan you gave me was the fastest route. I'm just, but it's just amazing how, we get caught up in that,
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And this is why it's super important to know who is the GPS in your life. Who are you listening to? And can they actually have a bird's eye view of your financial situation? Are they experienced to actually see what could potentially happen in 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now? Because they have been in the industry. They've taught other people to do this. Therefore, they know the likeliness of this happening. And that's what I love. Like, I love the fact that, I already know what I know, but I love the fact that people come to me and they're like, oh my gosh, like I have been told the wrong information my entire life, but I know in the back of their mind, they're probably thinking like, is she really true? Like, does this really work? So I know they still have that little doubt, like, no, like I've been told my whole life this, and now you're coming in telling me something different. I don't know if I believe it. But then they start implementing what I tell them to do. Boom, scores are changing. So now belief levels increased. And I love it. I be finishing my sessions. I get a text message. I tell them, go here, do this, go here, apply like this. And here's what's going to happen. Here are the options they're going to give you. This is the option you choose. Boom, let's start rebuilding credit. Sure enough, I will go to 2 tech screenshots. Congratulations, you've been approved. I'm like, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. And that's amazing. And I don't know. I just keep thinking about, and it's funny because I'm one of those people, and I don't always do this, but I will say when it comes to the GPS and getting to places, I just follow the map. I'm not arguing with it. I don't say it's wrong. I'm not, what I'm saying? I'm not thinking I got the better route. Like I just type it in and I just do what it says, right? That's how I like to get down. But it's so fascinating. Sometimes I get in the car with some people and, they be arguing with it. It's saying it's wrong. It's dumb.
Siri's like, turn left and you turn right.
Yeah. They're like,
you didn't listen.
This is better. This is better. And you know what? I'll say, because I got different listeners out there, and I'm sure people are like, "Well, it is wrong sometimes." And I will say there has been some errors, right? There has been some times where things haven't updated, and it was maybe
it's not going as fast as we're driving, so it makes the exit.
Exactly, yeah. So that kind of stuff does happen, but in general, the concept is right that the GPS is smarter than us, right?
Yeah.
And that's no diss to us. That doesn't mean it doesn't discount our intelligence at all. It just means it has a different position. It literally can see things you cannot see. You don't know what's going to happen 10 miles down the road.
That's true. And not only that, that's its job. That's its job. Its job is to know all the roads, all the detours, all of the accidents, all the new construction. That's its job. That's not our job. I mean, unless you're in the car with somebody and that's their job, maybe they're, I don't know, a city inspector. I don't know who those people are, and they just know the routes. But that's where you have to have that confidence in who am I listening to? What am I listening to? And trusting that person based on previous encounters. I mean, why do people do GPS? I know my way around town. I will still do GPS. Why? To avoid traffic, to avoid construction, to avoid getting roadblocked and me getting late to where I need to go to my next destination. So it don't matter how many roads, how familiar I am with the roads. It's what are the variables that are occurring at that moment, at that time, where I need to skip and remain on the fastest route.
That's powerful right there. How many times are we checking in? I think about that too, even with our, our finance. And we talked about this recently, how sometimes we get lulled to sleep, right? It's part of our, kind of like the societal makeup. We just, wake up in the morning, we do what we got to do. We pay the bills every month. We try to make ends meet. We just keep going, right? And we're not really checking in to see, like, is this really the route that I should be going? Is this really the direction I should be going? Is this the career I should have? Is this really how I should go about saving money? Is this how I build credit? We're not even really checking on these things. And it's amazing what happens when we stop and go, you know what is actually the best way to go about doing this? And sometimes we're surprised on the route. Like I remember, I used to always take this one route to go pick up my daughters. It always was like all freeway that I take this exit because it was like the exit I used to take when I was younger and all, like I'm familiar, right? Same thing with you. But it started to, like, when I typed it in, it would tell me to take this exit I've never taken before.
Yeah.
And go down these back streets, with like roads, like farmland and all. I'm like, what in the where am I at? But it literally saved me like, a good almost 10 minutes of travel time just doing it that way, even though it was like boring and it actually felt longer, like, because I was looking around like, what is this? Like, is this really shorter? It really was, but it didn't feel that way. It felt weird
because it's new. It's a new environment. So it's because it's new and it's unfamiliar. You feel that it's taking you longer. So let's take it back some. People come to me. They're like, okay, you told me my scores will change by this time and by this time if I do this, this, and this. And sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. That delay isn't necessarily because you didn't do work, and it's not necessarily because I didn't coach you well, but we also have the third variable. The third variable is making sure the bureaus are updating their systems when they update. And sometimes there's a delay right there. So then people get discouraged and like, well, my credit score's not moving fast enough. What else can I do? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Guess what? The people that were messaging me, I'm like, well, let me take a look. I kid you not. I don't know what it is. I'm like, well, let me take a look. I'll log in. Let me log in. Let me look at your stuff. I did nothing. All I did was log in. And then they're like, oh my God, my credit score just changed. Did you do that? And I'm like, well, I kind of like to say I helped contribute, but it wasn't me. It was just the timing on just being patient. Mm-hmm. There's one thing about being patient, but not doing what you're supposed to do and just hoping it just happens versus you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, but now you just got to let God work.
Yeah.
Let God work and it will happen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that reminds me too of like sometimes like my wife, so like sometimes, she hates to clean and not that I enjoy it, but I'm just a little better at it. And the reason why I'm better is because I'm more organized. And so, she will, we'll start cleaning together, or maybe she'll have to do like a whole bunch of stuff before, we open up the daycare. And so I tell her, I say, okay, if you want to do this the most efficient way, right, start here and then work your way over there. Right. And I tell her the strategy and everything. She hates that part. She's like, why are we sitting here talking about what to do? We should just go do it. I'm like, we need to talk and plan, because if we just start grabbing stuff and throwing things, you may not be doing it the best way, the most efficient way. And typically she isn't, right? And because I'm always like, okay, start with what people will see first. Clean the thing that people are going to see.
Clean the most noticeable mess.
That's right, right? If you clean the room that no one's going to be in, that makes no sense, because when they walk in, they see, clean that room first, right? But that room, the other room, the one that, that she wants to clean, may be closest to her. So she thinks that's the best thing to do. I'm like, no, do the one that's furthest away, because that's the first one they're going to see, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so we always end up working it out. Just so you know, guys, clean daycare. We always end up working everything out. But it's just funny how like she used to get so mad and be frustrated with the planning part. She would be like, Charles, why do we have to talk about this? Why do we have to like come up with a plan? I'm like, because literally this will save us the time. We spend 2 minutes now to save 15 minutes later. Like, but it's so funny how, I think a lot of people struggle with that. We're like, they don't see it. They're like, why do I have to like, think about this and really like be strategic? And like, why?
And it's true. Like if you get good at really being, strategic about everything, it just makes life more efficient. In my opinion, like same thing. Like if I tell the boys, go clean your room. Okay. No, how about we stick the laundry in the washing machine first? That is contributing to cleaning up the room, shifting all of the crazy laundry and mess everywhere, put it inside the washing machine. Now you've got that part done. And then we pick up everything off the floor. Then we vacuum. Like if you do things in order, it just feels and may look like more work gets done in a shorter window of time.
Yeah.
Versus, do this and do that. I totally get it.
It reminds me of like when like we have to like sweep up the floor and wipe the table, and my wife will sweep the floor and then wipe the table.
Yeah. I'm
like, no. Because if you sweep the floor's clean, you wipe the table, the stuff that's on the table goes on the floor. You got to sweep again. Yeah. So what I always do is I knock everything out on top. Yep. And if I want to, I throw it onto the floor because I know I'm gonna sweep it anyway. And then when I sweep, that's the last thing I do, and everything's clean. Right. But it's kind of thinking like, strategy around it. And I feel like that's, in a similar way, because I remember you like when you were coaching us on the credit game plan in terms of how we approach things, it was always like, do these things first.
Yeah.
Don't go apply for that, because you may not get it. Or there was even one thing I think we could have got, but you were like, no, hold off on that. Don't get that now. Because if you get it now, you're going to, mess up what you could do in 6 months, which is way better. So hold off. There's a time when you're going to apply for that, and it's not now.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just know there is a system, and there's reasons why there are systems in place, because they're proven. So yes, get with the people who got the right systems.
Yes. And I think that is something that's really incredible and unique about you in terms of, and also what we're building here. We talk about, the other guys and why it's not because we're trying to bash anyone or anything, but we really want our community to be empowered and to understand the options that you have and the difference. Right?
Options. That right there is a key word. Options. You may be trying to, raise your credit scores. And I strongly believe finances, having a good, solid financial foundation will pave the way to anything else you want in life. Happiness, excitement, like that's what I strongly believe. So when people come to me to, talk about, I want help raising my credit scores, that's why I'm asking these questions. What are we trying to do? Like, okay, I get trying to raise credit scores, but why? Like, what are we going after? Because somebody going after buying a new home is going to have a different GPS than somebody who wants to refinance a home versus somebody who wants to invest in real estate versus somebody who wants to buy a car. So we need to know that. But what's super crazy is during the session, you know, I can look at a credit report and I'm like, bam, game plan in my head, like, let's go. I can see it in less than 5 minutes. But unless we have the conversation to know what the whole situation is and where this person is, what their ultimate destination is, that is what then creates the actual step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for that particular person.
Wow.
So that's super important because everybody's situation is different. Their goals are different. Therefore, they need their own GPS.
And that's powerful right there, because I feel like what you're saying right there, the difference between what we offer here at Empower You and what you're doing is the difference between handing someone a map and handing someone a GPS.
That's right.
A map is just, it's general. It tells you where everything is. You got to figure it out. Right? It's not respect the person. It doesn't care where your home is versus where you're going, whatever. It just tells you this is how stuff is arranged. But what you're saying is no. It's contextual. It's based on where you are, in a position of where you are, where you're trying to go, and what do you want to avoid? Do you want to just take highways? Do you want to avoid tolls? Do you want to avoid traffic?
Get a speeding ticket?
Yeah. Do you want to get there faster? Do you want to be more scenic? You're contextualizing it and saying, hey, listen, I'm not just going to give you a map, which is what a lot of folks unfortunately offer when they just say a blanket, like here's, just blanket steps. I think we had we had our one of our guests, Damien talked about how, basically he said, I was told that everyone's credit report is different and everyone's situation is different, but you gave me the same plan that you gave 500 other people. Right. So how can we all get the same plan when all of our stuff is different? Because that person, just no shade, but they're handing out maps. You're handing out GPSs.
That's right.
Hey, I came to play on this podcast.
There we go. You draw some bars right there.
Hey. I got a little something sometimes.
Yeah, but it's so true. And I think, when people finally start realizing like, EmpowerYou's got something special. And I mean, the other day I posted like, we all got 24 hours in the day. How are we spending those hours? What are we actually doing with our time? And I mean, shoot, we've got way more lions in the program. So I had to open up my schedule, get everybody in and prioritize. And I'm like, let's get to work. Let's get to work sooner rather than later. Like, hey, I just opened up my Friday. Who wants an appointment sooner? Boom. Now my Friday is completely booked where normally I had an off day. So at the end of the day, people are winning. People are winning. You may not see it right now, but just wait till all the testimonials, even more than what you already see right now, even more is about to happen. And you do not deserve to be on the sidelines because of, you spent time and money over here and now you don't have anything else left to give. Mm-hmm. People are seeing results over here. So find a way so that you can win too, because there is no reason why you shouldn't have the lifestyle you deserve to have because of fear or because of a bad past experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's wrap this thing up. Sorry, that wasn't, initially what we talked about, but I felt like, when we first started talking about our week, it just seemed like, that was the direction we should go. So hopefully that blessed some folks out there. But before we end, let's go ahead and, let's give the people one last go nugget for those who are, struggling with the fastest route. They're trying to get to the fastest route. They're like, hey, listen, I've been going through this for a while. I am tired of being broke. I'm tired of having bad credit. I am tired of this. I feel like I should have so much more and I want it to happen now. What do you have to say to those people?
You need a GPS system. Stop relying on the full-blown roadmap where you can take 1,000 different ways to get to your destination. Get the GPS. know that your situation is unique and you need a plan that is tailored to where you're at right now and where you're trying to get to. Not just that, what about the road bumps along the way? What about the unexpected expenses that come about? What about the unexpected creditor that pops up on a credit report that you didn't even know existed, but now it's coming knocking at your door? Who's going to be there to coach you through that type of situation and tell you, based on what was popping up, yeah, it's hurting, but not that much. Let's stay on the fastest route versus, oh no, that really affected your credit score. We need to take a detour, do these things to get you back on the fastest route. So guys, get the information that you need because there's no reason why you shouldn't be leveling up right now. You are looking at all of your peers. You are looking at people on social media doing things that you're thinking, okay, wait a minute. If they're doing it, why can't I do it? Absolutely. You can and you should be. So definitely get on our free webinars that we're hosting. One's going to be dropping tonight. Make sure you're registered for the free webinar. Get the information and see why people are winning in the financial space.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well said. And thank you, you guys, for listening. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Empower You Financial with Eva Palacios. One of the things that Eva enjoys most about being in personal finance is seeing people win. So if you are looking to improve your credit score because you're ready to make a major purchase, get better rates, or start living life on your own terms, visit Eva at evaempowers.com and schedule a consultation with her so you too can live life empowered.